Sorry, I just...
And it's going to be a literal call because we got Jerry on audio there.
Bring, bring.
An extremely literal call.
Hello!
That's Jerry calling.
Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Welcome to
So,
Desert Bus.
Kathleen, listen. Obviously, we need to work out something at the very beginning.
Okay.
Right? So, last year, during Desert Bus,
Yes.
we talked, and I felt it was earnest,
Yes.
about a mixtape exchange scenario.
That's right.
Now, did that happen at all?
No, I panicked.
Right, and listen, and I'm not going to say that, that's more or less what happened in my arena as well. But what I would like to do, I would like to rededicate ourselves to the notion, and I think that it may help, maybe if there is like a range of time,
Oh.
so that if we have a deadline, then maybe we can cover up the other fear with a different kind of fear.
Oh, right. A more pressing, immediate fear.
Yeah. Something like that. Because, so far, where I got into trouble, and this is usually how I get into trouble with mixtapes, is that I created some very elaborate rules for what was appropriate.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And so the construct became very sophisticated and threatened to overthrow the project. A classic problem.
Yeah. I overcomplicated things because I was like, first of all, what would Jerry like? Second of all, oh my gosh, I don't really know him. Oh no.
What would Jerry do?
Yeah. How do I suggest something? What if I suggest a thing that he hates? Then he'll hate me. Then other people will hate me, and I'll have to be in exile.
No, they'll draft on my own hate.
Yeah.
No. It's not like that. First of all, that's not how my praxis operates in any way. Second of all, maybe this is the mechanism by which we can be known to one another.
Oh, okay. Perfect. We bear our souls.
Consider this.
So each of your mixtapes has to be the quintessence of who you are, and then you give it to the other person.
Yeah, I feel like what we're trying to create is nothing less than a fractal representation of our very being. Is this intimidating?
You should definitely put a deadline on that. Absolutely.
This does appeal to my vanity, though. So,
I'm telling you, I feel like we're just trying to create a crystal vessel within which we may dwell as liquid beings. So, other than that, I feel like we have it mostly ready to go.
Perfect.
Music glitches!
Yeah. All right. He's going to phylactery. Wow. Well, in what way may I be of service?
For this, the mixtape thing?
Well, no, I guess Desert Bus.
Yes. Well, first, let's think about how long we want to give ourselves to make these lists and how, I think that we can maybe we have to post them or something like that, then people can find them, and we can post Spotify links and Apple Music links and stuff like that for them who want to consume them and experience our distilled personality essence.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Well, obviously right now you are engaged in a task.
Yes.
Shall we say? But what if by the end of the month?
Ooh.
Right?
I kind of want to have it, is it too much pressure to say I'd like to have it done so people who are here at Desert Bus could put them out, right?
No. That is a marvelous, because essentially you are hitched to a terrifying perpetual content engine for the next few days. This could simply serve as additional content in this mix. I could provide this. It could go up on the main site even if you wanted to.
Oh.
This could potentially even be part of a thing that...
a segment we have planned.
A segment we have planned for later this week.
Yeah. I'm at a disadvantage because you're right. I'm stuck in an internet Skinner box.
Yeah.
But you.
Oh man.
You can just take this at your leisure. So what do you want to say by Wednesday or something like that?
Wednesday's easy peas for sure. I can ship that over to you by then.
Perfect.
Cool.
We'll be in touch and we'll figure out how we'll get all this stuff up.
Yeah. I have all the contact info. For the call I'm on right now, so
Yes.
we can't lose.
Perfect. Let's say maximum of 12 songs, but you can go less than.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's not go crazy. 10 is
Oh,
probably
10.
going to be what I arrive at.
Oh,
to
I
be
was
fair.
I was honestly thinking 10 as well. So like we have already coalesced here on the perfect number.
It's much as we expected. I mean, synchronization has already occurred.
Perfect. So with that matter attended to, I do have some questions for you from our audience though.
Oh, do you?
Oh,
Do you?
yeah.
I must say before we begin, I'm deeply agitated to see these couches and this comfort and this set, and then not also be on the couches, because I know that if I were to go behind this just to the right, maybe in back, I know you got some snacks in that room. I know you got a snack or two back there, and I'm feeling a little pecky. So,
Yeah, we
you
have
know what I mean?
we have fresh baking from one of our volunteers this year.
Mm-hmm.
We have all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I did do that to you on purpose.
That's rude. Is what it is. It's rude.
Speaking of questions from our audience and our audience in general, I just want to shout out all the Cherry Raiders who just joined us. Thank you very much for coming. And please join us on this call with Jerry. And let's see what we got questions from the audience.
Let's hit it.
All right. From Basil GG.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry, are
Yeah.
you doing a call-in this year so the Desert Bus crew can't try and kill you with the caramel dancing again?
Oh my God! Listen, my aged and decrepit body is not up to the challenge of the types of dancing you get up to on this show. Like, on more than one occasion, fresh torments were released. So that isn't the only reason. The main reason, I was actually literally just in Victoria a couple weeks ago for my honeymoon. And so that consumed all of our grandparental childcare options, or else I would be up there because I really like it.
I truly understand the grandparental child care limitation.
I can only imagine.
Twitter user Freaky Maths Boy asks, who do I have to thank for Snack's temporary alliance with the C Team, aka getting two of my favorite streaming worlds to collide?
Oh, there's a snack right there. A whole snack peeking in from the side. So, how you doing? I tried to do snack justice in my way in the game just after. But no, I mean, I think that it's been our fantasy for a long time to get, I mean, any time we can do something with your crew, it's something I want to prioritize.
To thank anyone in particular, I would like to shout out to Alyssa, who...
Yeah, that's the key, right?
Yeah, she and I have been talking at PAXs for some time now, and being like, yeah, that's a thing we should definitely do. And then finally I was like, please, let's do that. And she said, yes, actually, we will, though, and made it happen.
Yeah, and that's the
Alyssa's
truth in
great.
general. I mean, we have a benefit there. I mean, Alyssa, among other things, is just the person who, she is like the lens through which cool ideas become things that people actually do. And so Alyssa is almost certainly the person to carry this along the finish line.
Yeah, she's good people.
Alyssa
yeah,
is
for sure.
extremely good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's killer for sure.
Shifting
gone.
gears a little bit, unlike what we can do in this game. Dear Jerry, do you
Yep.
have hopes that your children go into creative careers like you, or would you rather have them be white-collar insurance salesmen and stuff like that?
And honestly, this is a legitimately interesting question. It's something that Mike and I talk about all the time, because he has a son who's 14, and my son is going to be 14 here in 2 weeks or so. And then my daughter Ronya just turned 10, and I really think there's two ways of thinking about it. It's like I do the type of work that I do because I'm like powerfully compelled by some genetic flaw to undertake it. And so I really feel like I have to do it, and I wouldn't be happy if I didn't do it. And so to a certain extent, if that's how it is, then I'll support them in that. But the idea that you would like go to work and then when you left work, you would be done with work, I don't know what that's like.
It sounds intoxicating, though.
It doesn't sound possible to me, but I
Yeah.
know that. But I know that that is a thing. I know that there are people who go to work and then they punch out, I haven't punched out for 20 years, right? And so I stay punched in. And so the idea that one of them, might, be an insurance adjuster or something, and then just like go on vacation and actually be on vacation and not thinking about this like strange contraption that they've built around themselves. I think they're both interesting. Like, I'll support them in either case, but if they had a normal job and then they went home and did something they enjoyed, I mean, that sounds like a good life too.
Yeah, I think whatever makes them happy.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah. So what a thoughtful and considerate answer. Thank you very much. By the way,
I have a lot of time to think about it.
I spend a lot of time worrying about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since my larvae are just farther along than your own mewling creature.
Yes.
So I just had more time to think about it, I guess.
More time to see that train coming towards you.
That's what middle distances are for.
No, it's true. It's true.
By the way, that was Echo CD who asked that. I forgot to
Oh,
mention
it's a
their
good
name.
question.
From Domid Warser. Jerry, you have been doing some wonderful work on the C team. Which guest player would you like to return and see more of?
Oh man, well, so we had an interesting. Honestly, I think that a snack reprisal I think would be well received by our shared nations. I mean, in this one thing, did our two nations find a shared purpose? But I also had a really good time when Nika Harper was on as Keopid, and we had a very fun. It was like the hour and a half. So our role playing show is an hour and a half section and then an hour section on the first side of the break, and we actually had Matt Mercer in town once, and so we did like a sort of hour and a half one shot type thing with him, and I would love to have him in the studio again for sure, as would literally everyone else.
Excellent. There's so many questions about C Team. So
fire away. I'm an expert.
Excellent. Well, this one is just: are there any more plans to get any Waffle Crew members out there as well?
Ooh.
Oh well, we have a whole season coming up next year.
Oh.
And so there's all kinds of opportunities to get them in the mix, but I would definitely say keep an eye on the main stages of PAX if you'd like to see some the Waffle Crew return in the manner we can make happen.
So there are a lot of questions here, and I think this is a question. This is my question. I'm sneaking in here because, gosh darn it, I'm in this chair. We have a crown. Perfect. So I can ask
Well, you have
questions.
crowns plural.
I
You have a kind of meta crown.
I am the double queen.
Enjoy.
All the way across the kingdom.
What I think makes people respond so well to AC Inc. and all of the D&D stuff is the story and stuff. So here's my question for you: is how much do you worry about crafting these incredible long form narratives? Like, how much do you have sort of planned out at the beginning of a season? How much do you I'll take notes and come back to that later. What a gift you've just given me. Like, how much do you stock your fridge? Like, what's your philosophy there?
So the two poles in any role-playing endeavor. So I'll talk about the one that I have absolute control over, which is the C team, right? So I'm actually behind the screen on that one. Mm-hmm. In terms of, I have certain ways I can try to manipulate Chris Perkins or Jeremy Crawford with the regular A game, the main stage game for like base acting, upper management, as they say.
Yeah.
When we do those types of things, I'll try to, through character action, I can try to put something in there that comes back and gets used later. And Jeremy Crawford is very, very adept at taking little things you might say at the table and then making them into campaigns. But on the C team, really the two poles are, you have a dungeon master who is engaged in who is essentially trying to, they have a book that they want very much to read, and whatever their thing is, they can't enjoy it unless 5 other people are also there watching them read the book. So that's one type of person, right? That's one type of game. The other game has 5 players, and everything is absolutely 100% reactive around them. And so on the first part, it's like, yeah, it might be more coherent. I mean, it depends on the dungeon master, of course, but you would have more of a kind of a coherent story. It isn't as dynamic. And then the last one is dynamic, but a lot of times you don't have a real through line. And so trying to find the middle point of those where players feel as though they exist in a world that they are shaping and is shaped by them, compared to like this grand sort of unified tale. Just finding that middle space is what's good. So when I come through here, generally speaking, I have very powerful people in mind that have very specific things that they want. And beyond what they're trying to accomplish and the mechanisms by which they intend to do that, I tend to let players have as much free reign as possible every other place in the game. So I only think about characters in terms of their motivations. So NPCs that viewers or people at the table really enjoy, on my sheet is a name and then a few adjectives. And that really is it. It's just important that I know what they want. Because as long as I know what they want, see, I'm getting the response I'm looking for back here. He knows what's going on. As long as I know what they want, I can perform them as much as is needed. But I really want the players to feel like they're in control, even when they are up against really, really devious opponents.
You have anything you want to tag on there, Jacob?
I'm waiting for my opportunity to ask how Seattle by Night was.
Oh, I had a really, really good time doing Seattle by Night.
Good.
And that's actually, you'll have an opportunity to see the fruits, the dark fruits of Seattle by Night very, very soon. So we had a really cool opportunity. There was a game that took place during PAX Oz. Called Melbourne by Night.
Yep.
And we actually, so once we found out that was happening there, we were able to get one of the characters from Seattle by Night there, and we actually did, over the course of that game, we actually showed Amanda's embrace.
Yeah.
And then when you come into Seattle by Night, if you already have that little issue 0 prequel type stuff, then you'll be able to come into this with some ideas about her. But Amanda is such a weird character. And she's weird in ways I wouldn't even want to say until it got dropped, because even just in the first couple episodes of the show, it's a dynamic, like the vampire dynamic that we have in the team is really, really wild anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, we got Jasmine Bueller, that bronze girl, an absolute treasure.
Yep.
We got Dora from Work, one of our designers, just killing it on the show. And then it's Mike and I, so like Omen and Jim from AI, but in this other context. And because Jasmine and I have had experience playing vampire before, both in the game and then as players at a table with other players, we took on a parental role. So our vampires are older, but we also have more experience playing this game.
Yeah.
And so over the course of the show, and it's something like 16 episodes, over the course of the show, we basically formed this very strange family. It's very, very cool. I hope that you enjoy it.
I have no doubt that I'm going to. That's absolutely
Please look forward to it, I think is the phrasing.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds rad. And for those of you that may not know, we shifted from D&D to talking about Vampire the Masquerade.
I picked that up through context.
Yes.
Yeah. D&D only happens during the day, and vampires
Vampire
at night.
happens at-
D&D and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
No.
one of the D's.
That's-
One of the D's in D&D means day. So
Right, yeah.
as long as you know that, we're good.
Yeah.
As a legacy player, how'd you like 5th edition?
I think. I mean, I haven't had a chance to play any of these storyteller World of Darkness type games in a while. Most of my experience was back in Mage.
Ooh.
Really, really neat stuff back there.
Yeah.
And then I hit a point in my career, in terms of World of Darkness type stuff, where I was buying the games to read them because I didn't have regular groups to play. Right. I think that happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
They have a very specific. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
They have a very specific. The new dice mechanic has a very specific system where the hungrier you get, the more of your dice pool basically turns red, and so really bad outcomes start to become possible.
Yeah.
The more of the dice you roll as they become these hunger dice.
Yep.
Every time you're rolling the dice, you are really rolling the dice, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And it feels scary.
Yeah.
Rolling dice in this game feels scarier than any other game I've ever played. So
Yeah. Because it can be
it's pretty special. It's pretty special, and also Jason, the storyteller, is
Jason
just
Carl.
a beast. Yes.
Oh yeah, he's the kind of busshole you want running a vampire game.
Oh yeah, exactly. But also, so Dora had never. I mean, Dora's first vampire experience was with Jason, and we're playing, and it looks sort of like Dungeons and Dragons, or like I run a game
Yeah.
of Tales from the Loop that has Dora in it as well.
Yep.
And so she sort of recognized the dynamic, but she saw a much more mind's eye theater type dynamic in Melbourne by Night,
Yeah.
with a dungeon master that like stands up
Yep.
and like prowls around the stage.
That
and,
was Brian, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like physical presence. And it's like that was I mean, she had never seen that, like that path of role playing.
Yeah.
And it's like if you've been around for a long time, you've seen those people who come in from the cam, right? Like they're used to this mind's eye stuff. It's like they met the Prince of Seattle once or something. You know what I mean? Like it's a different side of the hobby for sure. And I think that she saw more of it than she had before.
Yeah. So Mind's Eye Theater is kind of the LARPing sort of
Yes.
arm of
Oh
it.
yes, LARPing. That would help people understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now because I could literally talk to you about this all day. But I'm super looking forward to it, and thank you. And I sincerely hope at some point I get to play with you someday.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, we basically made a love connection when I was up there for this event last time. It's basically instantaneous bro down,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to investigate that.
Awesome. And
on any axis.
Sweet. And I actually got to write for V5 book, one of the upcoming book calls.
No stuff.
Yeah, called Cults of the Blood Gods. I got to write one of the new clans, the Clan of Death, the Hecata.
That's amazing.
Well-
New old clans.
Nice work.
Thank you. Thanks. So I look forward to it. I'm gonna
Hey.
stop talking about the vampire now. God. Yes, thank you, Jerry. I
All
appreciate
good,
that,
man.
man.
It's all good. We're good.
We do have a couple more questions I want to get to.
Please.
Before we let Jerry go. First of all, one of our own volunteers, TQ, wants to know what your favorite current calm down and chill board game is.
Oh wow, calm down and chill board game. What a great question. If you're looking for true calm down and chill, I think that Herbaceous or even Herbaceous Sprouts.
What are
Herbaceous sprouts?
This sounds like so much.
This sounds in
her jam.
TQ's wheelhouse immediately, on top of it being her question.
Yeah, it's a
What's up,
game.
TQ?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, so Herbaceous.
I own it.
Yeah, Herbaceous is about what you. I gave Dave my copy of Herbaceous Sprouts, so next time you're down, you should be pretty easy to get a hold of it. So either one of these games, they're both about. They're both about potting herbs. And so the actual gameplay is about. I mean, mechanically, it's about collecting straights, pairs, runs, and stuff like that. But you have a collaborative, like out in the middle, you have the community garden, and then you have your private garden, and it's about trying to is trying to pot the best collections of herbs using the community garden, and then this. Herbaceous Sprouts, instead of being about cards, Herbaceous Sprouts is actually about, is more of like a dice drafting game. But the funny part about Herbaceous Sprouts is that the conceit is that you're all planting, and so by my house, like we live very close to a community pea patch. I'm not sure what the Canadian equivalent of that is.
Like a community garden. Or
Yeah, we have
Yes,
community
exactly.
gardens. Yeah.
Exactly right. And so this is really the scoring track, and like the board is really about a community garden. And so even the competition is so gentle because you're really competing for like the best spots in the community garden. But ultimately everybody's going to get spots in this garden, but there's clearly spots that are better spots. And so even the level of the competition is so just parochial, right? It's
That
really
sounds-
sweet. You should try it.
That sounds great.
I love it. So I've played Herbaceous, but I haven't played Sprouts yet. So now that's the next one.
I like Sprouts. I mean, I love Herbaceous too, but I like Sprouts even better. The only problem with Herbaceous Sprouts is that, in regular Herbaceous, there's something you can do. You can plant certain types of herbs in your glass jar, and then if you do that first, you get the herb biscuit.
Right.
It's just a card with a biscuit on it, and you want it a lot more. It isn't even worth that many points. It's just about having the biscuit. And so it goes a different way in Sprouts, but I don't know. Maybe we can home rule the herb biscuit in there somehow.
Thanks, Jerry.
What a good question. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in that kind of game, like because you're like me, because that sounds great, check out Herbaceous and Herbaceous Sprouts.
Very gentle.
Perfect.
We should play it later.
As an anxious person, that's about all the drama I can handle in my board game.
Well, but it's also the art is by Beth Sobel, and so it's like alongside this gentle play, there's just these really nice picture drawings of plants, like nice watercolors of plants. You're being soothed the entire time.
Oh,
That's really neat.
visually
That's good.
and mentally soothed.
The game has a medicinal quality.
Whoa.
Put the deck
Excellent.
next to your bed. It's like a white noise machine in the evening.
Yeah, you just hear the soft, gentle hum of music for plants coming from the box. I'm
awesome.
amazed that people are like. I'm so happy somebody got that joke. I do have one more question for you before we let you go, Jerry.
Hit it.
This is somebody, a fellow GM who's looking to stock their fridge for $10. Please pick which rumor is going to start spreading in my D&D world.
Ooh.
1, a person accidentally becoming a demigod. 2, the Fae encroaching on the world. 3, wizards being a little too wizardly. 4, a mysterious baron that no one knows about. Or 5, a trickster god is messing with dwarves.
Well, listen. I mean, what else is new? No, I'm shocked and frankly appalled that there's no all of the above option. But I have to say the idea of someone becoming a god on accident,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah, that's
A
a real
plus
good one.
baller extreme.
I feel like we're just voting on the rumor, though, right? Like, I'm assuming all of
Oh,
these
yeah.
things are happening. It's just which one are people talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
all
love
these things
that.
are happening, that's exalted.
Yeah.
That first one is sick. If you want to read a book about somebody who sort of has to take up godhood and is slightly resentful about it, there's a really, really amazing book by Lois McMaster Bujold, who is just the queen of sci-fi and fantasy, frankly. She delivered something really, really special with The Curse of Chalion, and that is a part of a whole series of really, really great books that investigate some similar themes. So, Herbaceous Sprouts, Curse of Chalion, and you're set up. You're set up for the winter.
All right.
Jerry's hunkered down kit.
Yeah.
We are now snuggled down into our dens and ready to hibernate.
Exactly.
So with that, we must probably bid you adieu, Jerry. So
Oh, fair enough.
thank you so much for calling in. We
Yeah.
we miss your
Yeah.
absence, but please feel free to come back anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You are
absolutely.
always welcome. We
It was
love
good
having
talking
you
to you,
here.
man, and I'll maybe run into you at Unplugged.
I mean, I'm so glad. If nothing else, I'm just glad that I had an opportunity to like look at this picture of you in this place that I want to be and have full verification that everyone is all right. You guys are out there killing it, obviously. Again, it's a great pleasure. And I just couldn't be more impressed with the work that y'all do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, we'll see you.
All right.
Bye.
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 What a delightful call-in that was.
Yeah,
It's always so
it's-
nice to
Yeah.
talk to Jerry.
It's so wonderful to talk to Jerry. It's great.
That was really. There's a lot of GMs
I don't know
in
what
the room. So I was
Yeah.
like, why don't I just? This one's for me and Rec and Jacob for sure. And I think that was so nice that let's